Hello, hello, guys. Can you hear me? Is everything all right? I know that your mics are mute, but you can send me in the chat. So please send me in the chat plus if you can hear me. So I know that everything is all right and there is no problem with the sound. Excellent, excellent. So we are still waiting for some people to join us. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, so guys, we are going to start now. And while I'm talking to you, I will admit some extra people to our chat for joining us. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to start with a little technical things. First of all, guys, just for one more time, if you can hear me, yeah, could you please again send me plus in the chat, new people who have just joined us. Please send me plus in the chat that there is no problem with the sound. We'll be waiting for that. Okay. Okay, looks like everything is all right. So, немножко технических моментов в самом начале. Сначала на русском, чтобы всем было точно понятно. У вас сейчас у всех микрофоны выключены, чтобы звук не фонил, чтобы не было такого, что все говорят одновременно. Но я хочу на нашей сегодняшней встрече попробовать одну такую опцию, когда я буду попробую объединить вас в пары, чтобы в какой-то момент у вас была возможность поговорить на английском с другим человеком. То есть в этот момент вы можете включить микрофоны, чтобы, разумеется, пообщаться. Но когда мы с вами все вместе вот здесь вот в общем пространстве, то, пожалуйста, выключайте микрофоны. Видео можете все включить. Если хотите, это будет здорово, пожалуйста, видео включайте. А микрофон пока мы здесь все вместе, лучше оставить выключенным. А потом, если что, когда вас объединю вместе, мы его включим. А когда вы будете в парах общаться, я буду между вами переключаться, чтобы иметь возможность, по возможности, чуть-чуть поговорить немножко отдельно с каждым. All right, excellent. So let's start now, guys. Today we are going to discuss some new vocabulary in English and how we can use it in our everyday practice. And the first, and by the way, сейчас еще забыла один технический момент, в самом низу экрана есть кнопочка «Чат». Вы ее кликните, чтобы у вас чат был открыт, потому что я там буду время от времени что-то сбрасывать, какие-то новые слова, фразы, которые мы будем рассматривать. Okay, excellent. So, first phrase that we are going to discuss today, it is close-minded society. I will send it to you in the chat. Have a look, guys. Close-minded society. My first question to you, what do you think? What does it mean? If a society is close-minded, how can you describe this society? What does it mean? Any ideas? You can send it to me in the chat, by the way. You can send it to me in the chat. Whatever you think it might be, please let me know. So a close-minded society. So does it mean we can speak freely about different things? Or does it mean that there are some obstacles or some limits in the society? The same views on things. Yeah, it's mostly about limits. If you say that society is close-minded, that means that new ideas, they are not really welcome in this society. The same view on things. You are correct in a way that people don't really accept new ideas. Yeah, we can't express our opinion freely, especially if this opinion is new, especially if it is new. How we can use it in our everyday vocabulary. I've prepared a little sentence for you guys. Here it is. It's in Russian. Your task is to translate it in English right now. You can just do it yourself, just how you think you would translate it. I will give you a few minutes, a few seconds before I will tell you the actual answer. So how would you translate this sentence using this? Close is a verb. No, close is not a verb here. Close-minded society, close-minded, it's like an adjective, прилагательное. Close-minded society. Society is a noun, существительное, and close-minded would be like an adjective here. All right, so now I will give you an actual answer. So I just prepared it here. So our sentence was: никогда не видел таких закрытых людей, они не принимают ни одного нового решения. I have never seen people so close-minded. They don't accept any new ideas. Of course, like in your sentence, you can play a little bit. You can say, I have never seen such close-minded people. Also possible, why not? They don't, or they never, maybe they never accept, or they don't accept any new ideas or anything new, you might say. So what we are going to do now, we are going to try to put you in little pairs. In these pairs, you will need to discuss this question. Do you think that Russian society is close-minded, and why? So maybe you think it is, maybe you think it isn't, but justify, как подтвердить свое мнение, justify your opinion, why you think so. So do you think Russian society is close-minded, and why? And while you are discussing, try to use this word as much as possible. Еще раз для ребят, которые только что присоединились, потому что я продолжаю добавлять присоединившихся в чат. Сейчас я попробую объединить вас в группу, надеюсь, это получится, чтобы вы могли попрактиковать это в парах. И когда вы будете практиковать, включите микрофоны. Включите микрофоны, чтобы вы могли поговорить. Когда вы вернетесь сюда, можно будет снова их выключить. All right, so let's try to do it. Let's try to do it. And okay. All right. I hope it's working. Guys, you can join your rooms now. Okay, guys, is it working? Oh, hello, hello. Guys, if you are not in the room, please send me minus in the chat. If you are not in the room, please send me minus. You're not in the room, okay. Looks like it doesn't really want to work right now. Guys, are you in the room? Just one person sent me minus. Is the only one person here? Or do we have more people who are not in the room? All right. Are you back, guys? Okay, looks like it didn't work perfectly. So let's just Okay. All right. Looks like it doesn't really work with this amount of people, unfortunately. Then what we are going to do, if you want to answer me, you can unmute your mic and answer, because I really want to talk with you a little bit, guys. I don't really want it to be like a pure lecture. So, do you think Russian society is close-minded? You can unmute your mic and answer me. Whoever wants. Guys, please, anyone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Excellent.
I can't accept this meaning so far, because close, it doesn't mean be closed for any outer ideas. Close means thinking in the same way, have close views. I can't understand that.
Well, because remember, in English, one word can have different meanings.
Certainly, I know about that,
yeah.
but close adjective means they are next to each other, they look in the same way, right? In the same direction.
Well, in this combination, close-minded, it's just like a fixed expression. It's a fixed expression. I understand your confusion, but in this combination, it's like a separated, it's like the opposite of open-minded. Open-minded society, you can accept new things, you can accept new ideas, and the opposite would be closed-minded. Here it's like it works as a combination.
With the antonym, it works better.
Yeah, right. But thank you for the question. Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, do you think that Russian society is closed-minded, or do you think it's more open-minded these days?
It's getting to be an open-minded society, I guess.
It's getting there. Yeah, I would agree so. And what about like 10, maybe 15 years ago?
Less open-minded.
Less open-minded. All right. So how would you say, в большинстве своем люди были более закрыты?
Mostly they were close-minded.
Mostly they were close-minded. Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. Let's just listen to one more person who would like to share your view with us. Do you think Russian society is open-minded or closed-minded? Guys, let's practice together. We are here to practice. All right. One more person. Daria, Tatiana, Irina, I can see you all there, but please answer me. One more extra person. Okay, all right. No one wants to share. All right, that's okay. So let's go further. The next phrase that we are going to discuss with you, it is take something for granted. Take something for granted. You can see it in the chat. And again, that's a fixed expression. To take something for granted. Could you please tell me, guys, what do you think it might be? If you take something, maybe your parents, or maybe the weather, maybe the country, if you take your parents for granted, what does it mean? Do you appreciate your parents? Are you thankful that you have them in your life? Or do you think it's just think that everyone has, that's okay, everyone has like his or her parents, and it's a thing we all have in our lives. You don't really appreciate them that much. So what do you think? What does it mean? You can send me in the chat, or you can answer me with unmuting your mic. You can rely you can rely on the thing is granted. You can rely on it. Kinda, yeah, you rely on it because you believe you will always have it. То есть относиться к чему-то как само собой разумеющееся. Take something for granted. What do you think? What things do we take for granted in our everyday life? guys? You can send me it in the chat. So what do you think do we take for granted? Like my example was parents, for example. What do you think we take for granted? Please let me know in the chat, or you can unmute your mic and let me know. Hot water, that's true. That's true. Especially in winter, I believe, especially in winter. Yeah, we all take hot water for granted. And sometimes in summer, when they do some work with pipes and for a day or sometimes for a week, we don't have hot water at all in our houses. And I think it's a trouble. That's a trouble. Salt at the kitchen, in the kitchen. Salt in the kitchen, that's true. Salt, pepper, spices. Spices in general, we take for granted. But like maybe 200 or 300 years ago, spices were extremely expensive. Like salt, pepper, we think they're very usual now, but some time ago, they were like gold. So I prepared one sentence for us to practice. Here it is. It is in Russian. Think, how would you translate it in English using this new vocabulary? Variety of foods. That's so true. That's so true. And food in general, and maybe restaurants. With this coronavirus situation, a lot of people realized that they are so used to eating in a restaurant, but now we have no opportunity for that. So have a few seconds to think about their words we have here, the phrase we have here. And now let's see their version, English version of it. Here it comes. So the Russian version was: ты ведь всегда был очень внимательным к родителям. Почему сейчас относишься к ним как само собой разумеющееся? You have always been so attentive with your parents. Why are you taking them for granted now? You have always been like this, but why are you behaving like this now? Why do you take them for granted? Почему ты так к ним относишься? Почему ты относишься к ним как само собой разумеющееся? Why do you take them for granted? Or why are you taking them for granted? All right, so what do I see right now in our situation? I see that now we have a little bit fewer people. So I will try to break you in the rooms. Okay, no, it doesn't really want. Okay, so I will try to put you in the rooms, guys. And what you are going to discuss in the rooms, what things do you take for granted? К чему вы относитесь как само собой разумеющееся? What things do you take for granted? And is it good or bad? Or maybe if you finish with this discussion, what things do people take for granted in general? Maybe in different countries, people take different things for granted. So let's do it like this. So I will add you in the rooms. And let's do it, guys. You can join your rooms. There should be 2 people per room, and let's discuss it. So you can join the invitation.
Mr. English, we cannot hear you.
Is it good now? Excellent, excellent. So to take something for granted and close-minded society. Let's go further. Let's go further. Our next phrase that I would like to discuss with you today is a little bit of slang, but very, very popular slang that people use these days all the time in English-speaking society. Here it is. I sent you a sentence. I stalked her on Instagram. Stalking. Stalking a person. We have this word in Russian, but it has in Russian, it has double meaning. In English, usually they use it with negative meaning. If you speak about offline, for example, I stalked that girl on the street. That doesn't really, good if you do it, for example. That's not even legal, probably. But if you stalk someone, on the internet, it's like follow someone closely. То есть следить за кем-то пристально в соцсетях. So we can stalk people like on Viki, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So stalking. Sometimes we do it as well. Like I think, do you stalk any people on Instagram, guys? Who do you stalk usually? You can unmute your mic and just answer us. Who do you usually stalk on social media?
As for me, I usually stalk my husband's ex-girl.
Wow. All right. I see.
Very honest.
Yeah, I think sometimes we are guilty of stalking our maybe like ex-boyfriends or like, girlfriends of our boyfriends or husbands. That's true. That's true.
But we have been married for 12 years already.
But you still have this habit.
Yes.
Of stalking her. All right, that counts. That counts. Guys, do you stalk any maybe popular people? Maybe some bloggers or vloggers or travelers.
Does it pronounce stalk, not stalk?
Stalk. It depends on if you pronounce it in more American way, it's like stalking, like a stalker, как stalker. But if you pronounce it in more British way, L is very, very subtle, очень такая мягкая, stalk, stalking. So guys, any famous people?
Yeah, I'm certain Mila Jovovich, and she was one of her latest posts was about reading. She was reading Russian fairy tale Муха Цокотуха in Russian.
Okay.
And that was pretty funny because she's good in Russian, but she has her English, her American nuances and pronunciation, and that was really interesting.
Right.
And how to say, inspiring.
Inspiring, interesting,
Yeah.
hilarious. You can say. So she was American, but she was reading a Russian fairy tale.
Yes, Mila Jovovich is American, but her children speak Russian. Her mother speaks Russian, so she's good in Russian.
Excellent.
I guess she's from Ukraine originally, no?
Might be.
Her mother is from Ukraine and her father is Yugoslavian, but she's American.
Yeah, I heard her fairy tales. It's very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. It would be great to hear it. So if you have a link, it would be great if you send it, if you share it with us. And after our practice today, we can check it out and hear your speaking Russian with us. So what we're going to do with stalking someone, I prepared a phrase for you that you can try to translate. Here it is. So, прекрати следить за ней ВКонтакте и сделай первый шаг в реальности. You can think for a few seconds, how would you translate it? How would you translate it? And in a few seconds, I will give you the answer to that. And here it is. Oh, there should be like the space between them. Stop stalking her on VK and make the first move offline. So remember, after stop, we need to use gerund. Stop doing something, stop stalking her on VK. And when we speak about social media, it's usually the preposition on, and make the first move, make an effort offline, maybe in the reality. You can use any of these words. Okay, perfect. So what we are going to do now, we are going to take one more phrase, and then I will join you in groups again. So you can discuss them together one more time. So the next phrase is confide. Confide in someone. For example, confide in me. If people, it's a little bit more advanced. It's a little bit more advanced. So let's see how many of you know this word. It's a verb, by the way, it's a gлагол.
I do.
Yelena, okay. So could you please try to explain in English for us what it means, the meaning of it?
Yeah, I can give a synonym to share.
Share, yeah. Share usually what?
Share information, feelings,
Yeah.
ideas.
Feelings, yeah, absolutely. Confide, usually when you confide in a person, you say what's happening to you, maybe your personal thoughts, maybe your troubles, your problems. Usually we confide in our maybe friends or parents, как выговариваться, поделиться с чем-то. Usually with something very personal. Usually with something very personal. If you just want to say, oh, the weather is so beautiful today, it's not about confiding. But if you say, oh, like, I had a terrible morning, this or that happened, that is more of a confiding, when you share something personal with your friends. So confide in, делиться чем-то. Делиться чем-то личным, usually. And just for you to understand how to use it, here is a little phrase. Я никогда... Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the link. We will check it later after the meeting. So, я никогда не выговаривал с родителям, не хочу их беспокоить. What do you think? How would you translate it?
I've never confided in my parents. I don't want to bother them.
I don't want to bother them. Good. But what would you say in the first place? Я никогда не выговаривался. What would be better to use here grammatically?
I've never confided in.
Right. I've never confided in my parents. That's good. I've never confided in my parents. I just don't want to bother them. Excellent. So what we are going to do, I'm going to join you in groups again, guys. And what you need to do, you need to discuss who do you confide in, кому вы обычно выговариваетесь, or maybe who confides in you, или кто выговаривается вам. And with the previous phrase, stalking, who do you stalk, за кем вы следите в Инстаграме, and do you think it's a good or bad habit, stalking anyone in social media? All right, so.
And can you leave the same groups? We're used to each other.
Yes,
we
I
got
will.
used to each other.
You've got used to each other. Perfect. I will. Okay. You should have the link. You should have a link how to join the group. Please do it. All right. Oh, oops, Irina and Irina the second, you can unmute your mic for now while we are waiting for some other guys to join us. So what do you think about confiding? Who do you confide in?
I have various people to confide in because, for example, if I confide my husband about my work or my parents, I cannot confide with him about some other things. And the same happens to my parents. I cannot confide in them about my parents or my children.
Okay, I see. That's good. Excellent. All right. Irina the second, what do you think? Oh, Irina the second, are you with us? Okay. Maybe there are some problems with the connection for Irina the second. So guys, welcome back. Let's quickly go further. We have 2 more phrases to discuss before we will just have an overview. So the next phrase I would like to discuss with you, here it is, it's in the chat. Fruitless attempts. Fruitless attempts. We kind of have the same phrase in Russian, I think. You know what is fruit? You know what it is, fruit. And less, this suffix less, that means not having something. Бесплодные попытки, exactly. So it's like fruitless, как бесплодный, без плода. Attempts, like tries. Fruitless attempts, fruitless tries. You have no results. Maybe you can think, what were your last fruitless attempts? So for example, speaking about me, I've been trying to reach my internet provider because this morning I also had some problems with the connection. I was trying to make sure everything will be all right, but they didn't answer me. There was no one on the line. So all my attempts were fruitless. I couldn't reach them. Maybe you can think of examples of your fruitless attempts when you were trying to do something, to reach something, and you had no results. Maybe you can share with us. You can unmute your mic and share your fruitless attempts, or you can let me know in the chat.
To be in time with my homework for my courses.
Okay, to submit everything in time. Okay. Usually, what stops you from submitting everything in time?
24 hours.
Only 24 hours a day. Not enough, really.
Yes.
Okay. So improving Chinese. So yeah, you can say so. Yeah, I had some fruitless attempts with improving my Chinese. Yeah, but still at the same level. Good example. The same problem with Japanese, I can say, for me. I've been trying to improve my knowledge, but these days it's kind of hard. All right. So I guess you understood the main idea of fruitless attempts, guys. I also prepared a sentence where you can practice it. После нескольких бесплодных попыток он все-таки сдался. Pretty simple sentence, I think. So, anyone? Maybe Tatiana? You can unmute your mic and share it with us. How would you translate it?
Well, I can say after some fruitless tries, he finally gave up.
Yeah, you can say after some fruitless tries or fruitless attempts, he finally gave up. That's possible. Past simple possible here because we don't have the context, so it's hard to know. Present perfect also a possibility depending on the context, but because we don't know, either past simple or present perfect are possible. All right, excellent. And the last phrase for today, it's actually a fixed expression. It's here in the chat. Let's call it a day. Let's call it a day. It's a little bit symbolic. I took it as the last phrase for today. It wasn't intentional, by the way. So let's call it a day. It's a fixed expression. What does it mean? What does it mean, Helena? Do you know? Ну и денек.
It's time to finish.
It's time to finish. Yeah. Ну и денек, it's a little bit different. When you say it's call it a day, it means it's time to finish. It's time to stop working or stop doing whatever you do and maybe start relaxing. Usually when it is 6 p.m. in an office, it's time to call it a day. It's time to call it a day. All right, and just to let you see how we can use it in everyday life. Когда бы я ни занимался любимым хобби, мне всегда сложно остановиться. You can try to put this phrase in this sentence. Когда бы я ни занимался любимым хобби, мне всегда сложно остановиться. Would you like to try to translate it? Who would like to try to translate it for us? Oh, Tatiana? Yep, please, you can unmute your mic.
Yeah. Whenever I'm busy with my favorite hobby, it's always difficult for me to call it a day.
Absolutely. Whenever I'm busy with my favorite, whenever I'm spending time on my favorite hobby, you can play with this construction, but whenever is perfect, really good. It's always hard to call it a day. That's true. Because here to call it a day, it already includes in this phrase, stop doing something. So it can be about work or it can be about hobby. Basically here you mean that you are in a long process and now it's time to finish this process. It's time to call it a day. All right, for the last discussion of our today's meeting, I would like you to discuss two different questions. The first question, basically, is it hard for you to call it a day whenever you are working or whenever you are doing your hobby? Do you overwork? Do you work more than it's needed? Do you overwork or do you overdo whatever you are doing? Or is it easy for you to say, all right, that's enough for today. I will do something else now. I will just start relaxing today. And the second question with fruitless attempts, usually when you start something new and you have 1, 2, 3 fruitless attempts, do you tend to give up? Or do you tend to, being persistent and keep trying until you have successful results? So what is your personality here? So I will join you in rooms, I think the same rooms, and that will be our last discussion for today. And I will join some of you guys just to help you going. Okay.
Microphone.
Why is this happening? All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, guys. That is it for today. So let's have a quick revision. Today we had close-minded society. So Maria, do you remember close-minded society? What does it mean?
In English or in Russian?
You can in English if you want. You can kind of like paraphrase it.
Then you can explain or something like that new views to a group of people, and they are
Yeah.
close-minded.
Yeah, when you can't, maybe you can explain, but they don't accept. People don't accept new ideas and new, maybe a new view like on something. All right, next one was, where is it? Oh, take something for granted. Take something for granted. Irina, do you remember? If you take something for granted, what does it mean? Irina? Okay.
She's studying Chinese right now.
Probably.
No, actually, I'm talking to my about beep beep.
Oh.
I couldn't turn my phone my microphone on.
Oh, okay.
Take it for granted means not to think that a thing is a treasure. It's something usual. It's way. You always have it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not to treasure something, not to appreciate something. For example, people in hot countries, they take the weather for granted. They don't appreciate the sun, the warmth, but we here, we can appreciate the sun and we know how valuable it is. All right, the next thing was, what was the next thing? Confide in someone. Tatiana, do you remember what it means? Tatiana the first.
Here, I remember the phrase confide in somebody. It means to trust somebody, to share feelings, your ideas with in somebody, in your friend or husband or boyfriend.
Right, to share with, but confide in. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot.
All right, absolutely, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, to share your thoughts, your ideas, maybe some negative moments of your life, to trust this person and share personal things with this person. All right, fruitless attempts. Tatiana the second, fruitless attempts. What is this?
This means this sentence. This sentence means that to get many efforts, but not have a result.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, when you try and you have no result, fruitless attempts. Perfect. And their last one, to call it a day. To call it a day. Okay, Yelena, one more time. Could you please explain to us in other words? Yep.
To finish something.
To finish something. That's true. That's true. Whatever it is, it can be your work, can be hobby. It's like the long process and you want to finish it. Let's call it a day. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it was useful.
It was.
Thank you so much.
Can you make it more often?
I will try to. I will try to. So hopefully our next meeting will be offline. Will be offline in the library. So I hope.
I doubt so.
Yeah, like I have my doubts, but I really hope, because I really like meeting you in person, guys. That brings me so much joy and happiness. But thank you so much for being here with me, even online. And I will see you next time. Have a really perfect weekend and the week that is in front of us.
By the way, ladies, I I wrote down the name of the application, Quizlet, if you need it.
All right, yeah, we're discussing this application Quizlet, which is like an English application, and it's really useful.
No. Oh, by the way, Quizlet is for any languages in the world.
Any language.
Any language.
That's even better. That's even better. Yeah.
It's
So
much
Elena
better.
highly recommended us this application. So I think it's worth trying. I think it's worth trying. And don't forget to check the link. Don't forget to check the link that Irina shared with us with Mila Jovovich reading some Russian fairy tales in Russian. I think that's really nice to hear. It's almost evening, so we can try it. All right, perfect. Bye-bye, ladies.
Спасибо.
See you soon.
Thank you very
Спасибо
much.
всем.
Goodbye.
До свидания.